Oh, good morning. Is that okay lighting? Can't even tell. Good morning. Welcome to another video. Today's not really going to be a vlog. I might show you some things that I do, but for the most part it's just a work day today. I already went to, this morning's been pretty good already. Woke up at 5:30 and we drove to the beach, Luther and I, to go for a walk, watch the sunrise and got a coffee. It was nice. Got home, had breakfast and journaled, and then did a bit of study. Had only about half an hour of study, so I only really did like one little block, and then got ready and now driven to work. I've got about 15 minutes before my client, so I'm just parked outside because I'm a bit early because I wanted to film this part of the vlog, just or video video blog. So I guess it's still a vlog, but it's just not like a day in the life. Anyway, I wanted to make a video about how to get out of a funk, or how to live with a funk, how to react when you're in a funk, because it's inevitable to get out of it unless you play with it. Everything is temporary, good and bad things, so it's best not to label it as something that is a negative or a positive thing, because if you say it's a positive thing, then it means there's negative things out there, and it's not like being blind to the fact that there is shitty things that happen and there's good things that happen. It's not being blind to that, but it's just seeing it as something neutral more than anything, and just being like, this is normal to happen. It's normal to feel a bit off sometimes, a bit confused, perhaps even upset, but like you're not sure why. And essentially that's what a funk is from my perspective. Or at least like the way that I've ever experienced it. It's usually like I feel off, or I feel like down, or I feel, yeah, just not 100%, but I'm not entirely sure why. I've gotten better at recognizing why and seeing like potential problems or like potential reasons as to why, but sometimes there doesn't always have to be a reason, and we'll talk through like tips and how to recognize whether it is something that needs to change, or whatever the funk's kind of coming from, if anywhere, or if it's just, you know, part of the seasons. Like I was saying, everything is temporary, and even emotions are temporary unless you feed it. So if you've got like a negative emotion, like you're feeling sad, which is inevitable, and which is why just view sad emotions, which is just, you know, your interpretation of what's going on, or, you know, what you've been told, or whatever it is, whatever you've been sad about, it's just your interpretation of it, which is so fine. You're allowed to not feel fan-fucking-tastic about every little thing that happens in life, because obviously shitty things happen. But seeing like your emotions as a neutral thing, therefore you're not shaming yourself for feeling the way that you do, because you never should. Like it's normal to feel whatever you feel in life. Like I was saying, it is temporary, like it's going to pass. Like the way that you interpret it is going to pass. As always, as soon as things happen, like it's usually heightened because you've only just received this information, whether it was like a piece of information you've been told, or like you've seen something. Your brain has only just gotten that. You've just learning to process it, and like even though things have happened before, maybe like things are allowed to feel hard and heavy if they continuously happen, or like happen in a new way, like new level, new devil, like new things or same things are allowed to happen in a new way, and they're allowed to feel hard and heavy again. Like you don't have to overcome and transcend something and then everything else be easy in life. It doesn't really work like that, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because then we can continue to grow as we are continued to be challenged. So if you feed into these negative emotions, these hard and heavy emotions, of course they're gonna feel worse, and don't shame yourself if you ever do. Like you've got to feel your emotions. You've got to actually experience things. In order to overcome some things, you've got to go through it. Debatably everything, depending on what you view as going through it. Like throwing a pity party is not going through something, but feeling your emotions and deepening your understanding of them is going through it. And it's hard, it's equally hard, but what is harder, going through those emotions and understanding them, then coming out the other side stronger with a deeper understanding and love for yourself and respect, and knowing that you honoured your emotions in a healthy way and ultimately yourself? Or is it harder to sink into your old non-serving and comfort habits that could be throwing a pity party and perhaps like throwing tantrums and taking your emotions, anger, sadness out on other people. Maybe it's abusing food or alcohol or sex, these external things to give you instant gratification and comfort, validation. And then obviously you feel more comfortable and happy in the short term, but in the long term you didn't deal with those emotions or whatever had come up for you, so it's going to come up again. You didn't take the time to understand or transcend whatever was happening there, so it's going to come up into the future. You will continue to be challenged by the same things until you face it in one way or another. And that's not saying that you'll never get challenged on it again in another way, because like I was saying, new level, new devil. But you're never going to get to those new levels if you don't face the devils along the way. Like you can't bypass levels. That's my little preface, that's my preface before I get into actual like tangible tips and things that you can do and take into consideration, but like most of all physically do or internally do. Yeah, that's my little preface so that you know and understand better about what the funk is and your perspective around receiving challenges and being in a funk, because it is human. We can humanize it. I want to humanize it because so many people can shame themselves for going through this and thinking something's wrong and then self-sabotaging, whereas this is just the perfect opportunity to redirect. Or maybe not always redirect. Sometimes it can be a situation of you just need to stay solid and prove to yourself that you can do that. Yeah, I'm excited to get into this video. Okay, I'm sorry if there's really bad wind. My first actionable step is, well, there's so many seagulls. My first actionable step or tip is to feel it, understand it, ask questions, get curious, but don't shame yourself and don't feed it. So when you have a negative thought, your mind's going to find all the evidence to support that, because it doesn't find it feasible if it's just like one reason, like if you're just feeling off for either no reason or just one reason. So your mind will give you every piece of evidence that supports that, even if it's fake, even if it's in the past, even if it doesn't really matter now, or yeah, doesn't matter, your mind's going to bring it up, and then that's where old shit might come up. But really it's like self-sabotaging, and it's your mind's way of justifying why you feel this way. So that can also happen when you feel really good, when you feel really excited, and you'll be extra grateful for all those little things in your life. They're already there. You're just recognizing those because you're in that headspace. So it goes same thing for like negative things. As soon as you find one, or like one thing, I'm getting a call. Sorry, Luther called me, but as I was saying, I'm pretty sure I was talking about how if you got triggered by an initial, do not fly over me like that. Fucking seagull just like flies over me and just see everything underneath. I don't know, it just feels like I shouldn't have seen that for free. So if you feel initially triggered by something, like your interpretation of something is obviously negative and upsetting, your mind's going to scramble to find all of those other negative things in your life. Maybe it was about how your ex-partner cheated on you, maybe it was about how maybe a parent ran out on you, and it seems like these are intense things. It could be other little things, like maybe even just like you're on your period or you twisted your ankle yesterday, so now you're just in a pissy mood or in an upset or angry mood, whatever, about all these little things or big things as well that happen in life, and they wouldn't have been a bother to you because you've overcome them, you've done your work, whatever, except for this one initial thing happening. So when things do come up, you start to feel funky and you feel agitated, frustrated, upset, angry at yourself, whatever it is. Like, acknowledge it. You don't have to like push it down. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying acknowledge it, find a deeper understanding of it. So get curious about it, but be careful to what you listen to. So if you're like, listen to as in what you're saying to yourself. So if you're saying like, I feel like shit today, and then you're finding all these other reasons, like, oh, you did this, you didn't do this, you did too much of that, you look like this, you don't look enough of like this, whatever, you're going in a spiral. So stop feeding it. Looking at the actual facts, like a matter of fact. and anything that comes up, it's natural for your brain to feed you these negative things. Whenever those things do come up, sorry if the wind's hectic, whenever those do come up, think about whether they actually serve you or not, whether they're actually true. Are they facts? Are they relevant? Are they just from the past? And tell yourself, no, this is different this time. I don't need to be reminded about shit that happened in a past relationship or family drama, whatever. Like, it's not relevant here. So just be mindful and be careful with your mind, with what you trust that it says in those heat of emotions. So recognize, identify what's going on if you can, but more than anything, just be neutral. Remain as neutral as you possibly can while staying curious. Okay, so I'm back in my office now, and I wanted to give you my second kind of tip. Honestly, everything that I'm talking about, like this whole video, essentially, you could probably break up into more than one tip. Like, there's probably a lot within each, but I'm trying to break it down to like little categories, essentially. So category 2 of my tips would be to do something, and it doesn't have to be to do something about this thing, because like you could still be identifying, processing, but essentially what we want to do is keep you out of that desire to sink back to your comfort behaviors, whether it is abusing food, sex, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is. We want to keep moving forward. We want to keep the ball rolling in some way, because that's probably what's actually going to lead you to realizing what you need. Sometimes, like, you might already know what you need, and that's fantastic, but sometimes we don't even know what we need out of this, whether we need to rest, whether we need to go to the gym, whatever it is. But in the meantime, as we're figuring it out or trying to figure it out, we need to keep moving in some way. So if you've already got plans, if you've already got protocols you need to follow that week, whether it is like you need to go to the gym X amount of times this week, like, keep doing that, keep going to your plan, unless you literally need rest, but then you'll know that already. But just go to the gym, take it one step at a time, even if you don't want to, like, it feels like it sucks, just get to the gym, do what you can of your workout, and try to distract yourself as well while you're there, because of course you're in heightened emotions perhaps still, so it's gonna probably either really suck or be really good. Yeah, so as much as you can, go through the motions, like as much as you can, be intentional, but of course I know those moments where you literally just can't, like, you would rather be laying in bed and doing nothing, but we don't want to do that. We want to keep moving forward, unless, like, of course you know you need rest. Again, you'll already know that and be doing that. So this step is for those who don't really essentially know what they need. And be also, just another tip, if you do think that you know what you need, be very, very honest with yourself, because sometimes we're like, yep, I need rest, but you really don't. Sometimes we need to push through, or pushing through doesn't have to be pushing to do everything, but it sometimes is doing at least some of the things and some of the capacity, and not just doing nothing and stopping, because then we'll feel worse for it potentially. But that's access your own discernment in that. Keep moving forward, go do your steps, do the gym, all those things, but also take moments to do nothing in a way where your brain's not actually occupied. And this doesn't mean lay in bed and watch TV and eat your comfort foods. It means to go for a walk perhaps, and don't have any music, don't have any, like, maybe lo-fi music if anything, don't have any podcast playing. Try to be alone if you can, so you can really be alone in your thoughts and understand what's going on. But more than anything, just keep moving forward, taking those steps, drinking enough water each day, doing your regular habits and practices that you usually do that you know make you feel good. I know the last thing that you typically want to do when these funks come up is read your 10 pages a day, go on these walks, embrace life, and do your gratitude. I get it, I know, but try your best. Say 3 things you're grateful for, do your journaling, have the regular breakfast that you usually have, and that's usually what's going to at least get some momentum going, so that you can either find out what's wrong, realize that nothing was wrong all along, you just needed to keep going and it was just one of those times. That's pretty much it. Yeah, So step number 2, tip category number 2 is to keep moving, find momentum in moving. That's the only way that you find momentum, is by moving. You got to get that ball rolling at some point to keep it rolling. Okay, hello. So it is now 5:17 p.m. I have trained, I have finished most of my work. I'll do a little bit more work tonight. Not like urgent things, it's just extra things, but I want to get them done. My last tip is to introduce some new, exciting, fun things into your routine. And maybe they don't have to be new, maybe they can be like old things that you used to enjoy. Just things that you know that you're interested in, or that you know you used to enjoy, whether it's music, like more singing, or playing an instrument. I'm going to whip out my roller skates, and I would call this new because I've used these like 2 or 3 times since I got them over a year ago. Pretty brand fucking new, and I'm gonna use them. And I was like starting to feel like that rut at the start of this week, but I'm feeling much better now. But it's because I've been implementing what I know makes me feel good, and I'm just kind of inspired to try new things or new old things and introduce other things that I haven't done in a while back into my routine, because I just feel a little bit dry, like feeling like I'm missing something, and this is how I'm going to add some new spice into my life. I was contemplating going bouldering tonight, but I'm not really up for it, to be honest, and then I'm going to drive there, and then I'm going to have a late night because I've got to have 2 more meals, and yeah, it's just not going to happen tonight. I feel like stress and sacrificing other things that are important to me, whereas this I can just strap on, go for like 15-20 minutes, fall over a lot, and then come home. So my last piece of advice is to pretty much try new things, try new old things, try to just mix things up a little bit, because you feel a little like you're in a funk. Maybe you just need a little bit of movement in a different direction to inspire you again in a different way, or maybe to remind you that you like your old routine. That's about it. The last one's kind of a playful one. It's more than anything, it's about lifting yourself up and recognizing that it's not bad to feel like you're in a funk or to feel down in any way, shape or form, but it does matter what you do next. It matters how you respond and what you do with those emotions that you're feeling. I will love you and leave you. I'm going to go rollerblade, I think it's rollerblading, and I will fall over a lot probably, and I will see you in the next vlog.